facing the police every single day.
James McLenis for Sheriff of Pinellas County. 16 HRS. So only after 17 people are murdered does Florida Sheriff now require deputies to confront shooters. Like he really needed to be asked to do so? After Pinellas County Sheriff Robert Gualtieri whitewashed the Parkland school shooting investigation to save Sheriff Scott Israel's job, Israel now does what everyone else would have thought he was already doing. Here in Pinellas, Sheriff Robert Gualtieri has remained silent on what responsibilities his deputies have in the event of an active shooter. The only written information I can find issued by Sheriff Gualtieri is the October 24, 18 PCSO News and Views published by the sheriff that instructs his deputies do not overtask yourself during a solo response. I'm not exactly sure what do not overtask yourself would mean while a shooter is actively murdering children. There is only one task: stop the shooter. Yet Gualtieri has placed PCSO school resource officers in each school to protect our children. A member of my organization recently asked Spencer Gross, head of Sheriff Gualtieri's Public Information Office, the following questions on December 19, 2018. So far he has refused to respond. Mr. Gross, if you could please provide the official position of Sheriff Gualtieri and the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office in response to the following questions, it would be greatly appreciated. 1. Is it the official position of Sheriff Robert Gualtieri that his deputies have an obligation and a duty to protect the children at a Pinellas County school from injury or death? 2. Is it the official position of Sheriff Robert Gualtieri that his deputies have an obligation and a duty to protect the children at a Pinellas County school from injury or death even if it places the deputies' lives in danger? 3. Is there an official policy or general order that clarifies for Pinellas County Sheriff's deputies what their duties and obligations are regarding protecting students in an active shooter scenario, especially in light of the recent rulings, so that PCSO deputies will know what is expected of them? If not, why not? 4. If it is the official position of Sheriff Robert Gualtieri that his deputies do not have a duty or obligation to protect the children at Pinellas County schools, then why are they posted at PCSO schools? 5. Why are school resource officers given a PCSO patrol car to merely drive to school, park out front and then drive home? Is that a justifiable use of taxpayer money? 6. Is Sheriff Gualtieri's reversed position on arming school teachers because he is acknowledging that his deputies are not there to protect the students, so therefore the teachers must step in? Thank you in advance for your responses. It does not surprise me that Sheriff Gualtieri and the Pinellas County Sheriff's Public Information Office has not bothered to even respond and refuses to answer these simple, direct, and legitimate questions regarding our children's safety. If he would cover for Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel, certainly he would try and cover for himself as well. Instead he chooses to hide, avoid answering questions and dodge his responsibility to every parent and child in Pinellas County. Is that who we need as sheriff? If you would like to ask Sheriff Gualtieri or Spencer Gross about these same questions, their email addresses are as follows. Corporal Gross contact information is 727-582-6221 PIO Office. W. Gross at pcsonet.com. Sheriff Robert Gualtieri. RGU Altieri at pcsonet.com. If any of you get an actual response from Sheriff Bob or his Public Misinformation Office, please let me know. Vote James McLenis for Sheriff of Pinellas County if you are done allowing Sheriff Gualtieri to endanger our children. Sheriff changes policy, requires deputies to confront active shooters after Parkland. By Associated Press, Sunday, December 30, 2018. Fort Lauderdale, FLA. The sheriff of a Florida county where a gunman killed 17 students and staff at a high school has outlined steps his agency has taken in response to the February 14 massacre. Broward Sheriff Scott Israel sent a letter Wednesday to the state commission investigating the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, according to a South Florida Sun-Sentinel report. Israel said all deputies completed an additional 8 hours of active shooter training, and all school deputies attended a week of similar training and received carbines to give them more firepower. The sheriff's office also created a threat assessment unit, headed by a former New York Police Department inspector, and an internal committee that will address the commission's ultimate findings and recommendations. Be assured, the reforms adopted to date are not the end of this process, Israel wrote. Rather, they are a midway point as we continue working towards addressing all of the findings related to our agency and implementing all of the Commission's recommendations. The Sheriff's Office also changed written policy to mandate that deputies have to try to confront active shooters. The previous wording only said deputies may intervene in such situations. In an interview with the newspaper, Israel said he was willing to make necessary changes, but he also deflected blame for the deaths and injuries to 17 additional people in the school. "I'm certainly responsible for everything that goes on at the agency, good or bad," Israel said. "But as I've said before, the only person responsible for the deaths of those individuals and shooting 17 other people is the killer." Families of victims have called on Governor Rick Scott to suspend Israel before leaving office January 8. Israel, whose elected term is up in 2020, said he would not leave office voluntarily. "I've done nothing wrong," he said. "I'm not considering resigning or anything like that. I will remain the sheriff as long as the people of Broward County want me." Copyright 2018 The Washington Times, LLC.
Hey Sheriff County, this is Sheriff County COPWATCH. I am using any video here with under fair use if you have criticism, reporting, teaching, etc. And please donate. I do not make money from YouTube, and there are different ways to donate in the video links. Thanks.